Okay, fine. So let's go back to the process. So let me summarize that we have gone through the option which is called as process under the organization settings, which will help us to create our own customized process based on the client requirements. And also the process, sir, go ahead and please click on all process. So under all process, we can see the different processes that are available out of the box in Azure DevOps, which is namely your basic, agile, Scrum and CMMI. The difference between all these process will be with respect to the work items that it will allow us to go ahead and follow. The most widely used process is the agile. So inside agile, we can go ahead and customize or create our own process based on the requirements that is being offered from the clients, right? So in agile 1 we can go ahead and add few fields. In agile 2 we can add more fields based on a specific client requirement. That's where your usage of your different processes inside the agile template will be useful. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on agile 1, sir. So here these are the default work item types that come as part of your agile process. So if you see, we have epic, feature, bug, user story, issue, task, etc. Right? So if we want to customize the user story, like any of the work items, let's pick user story. Yes. So here this will be the default layout. That is, this is the number of fields that we will be seeing when we are opening the user story work item, when we are creating under reports, right? So these are the default fields that is provided by Azure. If we want to add a customized field, we can go ahead and click on new field and go ahead and create a new field. Say for example, test 1 or anything, field 1, yes. And the type of the field is as given. Like you can go ahead and create the fields based on different values. Click on add field, so that your custom field is created and added to your inherited process. Okay, not only field, you can go ahead and create a new group, new page and external field controls as well. Okay,
Group
so what
means
is
what
this?
it will create?
Yeah, it will create a subgroup which you are seeing inside your page. Say for example, go ahead and so in page details, just give group 1 name as group 1. Let's see how it is reflecting inside the page. Yeah, group 1, click on add group, and it is asking you for the layout, whether it should be in your left hand side or in the middle or in the right hand side. Okay, yeah, go ahead and click on add group. So now your group 1 has been created. It is like your section kind of thing. Okay, because if you are going to create the customized fields, you want to group all of the customized fields under a group, right? So that is where this will be important. And also if you go ahead and click on new page, it will help us to create the entire page as well, similar to your details. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new page.
Here it will come.
Yes, so here if you see, you're in page 1. You're not in details, you're in page 1, right? There are 2 tabs now. Correct? Go back to details. Yes, this is page 1, this is page 2. Like if you want to customize your page 1, you can go ahead and add all the fields that are either existing in your process, or you may have to go ahead and create the new field. Okay, this is how you can go ahead, edit or remove as well.
How to means how to add this all the fields?
There is one option here, right, sir? Yeah, add fields, or you can click on new fields as well.
This one?
New field above. Yes, to your left hand side, new field. Yes. Yeah, if you want to use an existing field, you can go ahead and use an existing field.
Oh, अच्छा, okay.
Yeah, if already the field is present, you can go ahead and make use of that field,
Okay.
either the system field or the custom defined fields. Okay, and one thing to note here, sir, the system generated fields cannot be modified. Like you cannot modify the system generated fields.
Okay.
Okay, because
Means
acceptance
this one,
criteria is
the
one of the system field. Yes.
okay.
Okay, go ahead and click on add field. Now your acceptance criteria would be into this page.
Okay.
Okay, so this has to be done based on the work item type we are selecting. Right now we are making the changes to the user story form, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, based on that we can go ahead and modify for epic, feature, task, bug, everything. Okay.
Okay.
And this extensions, get extensions, we will come back later because we need to understand extensions first. Like in the last class, I think we saw how to use the extensions, right?
Yes.
We can go ahead to the marketplace
Yes.
and
Yes.
install the one of the extensions, which would add some more value to the existing features that are available in Azure DevOps, right?
Yes.
Yeah, something similar to this. Yes.
This one is back.
Sorry.
We have to go back then.
Yeah, go back.
Okay.
Okay, so this is all about your process, which will actually help you to go ahead and customize your
Yes. All
form
the fields.
pages, work
Yes.
item. But along with this, you also have something called as states and rules. So let's go to the states. Yes, along with the fields, you can also go ahead and customize or add your states as well. So what does these states refer to is that whenever you create a new user story, right?
Yes.
You see the set of states under
Yes.
your state field.
Right.
So
Yes.
those are these workflow.
Yes.
Okay.
Dev.
And
Yes.
yes, one
QA.
thing to remember is that you cannot delete the starting what is that new state and the close state. Even
Yes.
if you try deleting, you won't have an option. Let's
Okay.
go ahead and see that. Click on three dots for new. Yes, so now you can even hide it or view it. You cannot delete because this is the system generated state fields.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and add a new state. Yes, say for example, client will be asking after new, I want a new state to be come as
Yes.
ready. Okay, so let's give the name as ready.
Okay. We can choose, select, or we can
No, you
add.
have, yeah, you can add. Now we are adding a new one.
Yes.
Okay, ready is already there.
Okay.
That's the reason it is
Coming.
taking. Give any other field, sir. Yeah, QA, it is not there, right?
Okay.
Yeah, give dev, and that's fine. Go ahead and select the status. Yes. So where your particular state should be added to. Okay, whether it is in
Okay.
proposed, in progress, resolved, completed. So let's give in progress.
Okay.
Yeah, you can even select the colors.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and create. So now you see that a new state has been created for your user story under in progress section,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the same way, you can go ahead and add the states for your completed stage and your remote stage as well.
Okay.
Okay. And then the third section is called as your rules. Yeah. This rule will be important when you want to make something mandatory, right? So usually rules is to make sure that you are following certain instructions that you are going to follow organization wise, right? Say for example, let's go ahead and create a simple rule. Click on create rule. Yes, we will give the rule saying that whenever a user story is getting closed, acceptance criteria is mandatory, because even in the business justification, whenever my user story is completed, I need to make sure that user acceptance criteria field is present. Only then the user story should be allowed to close. Okay, so rule 1, let's go ahead and select the condition. Yes, when a condition Okay. Now you have different selections for this. Say for example, you can create a rule when a work item state changes, or a work item created when a work item state not changed. So all these several items. Okay. So right now what we need is when
Close.
the state is getting changed, right? So when
Yes.
a user story state is changed. So
Yes.
the work item state, no,
Change
not
was
that, above one.
which one? The value is defined. This
No,
one, I
not
think.
value, no, not this, because we are required to
Change the
make
state.
changes of the
This
state.
one is
Yes.
the, I think, a change was made to
You
the
can use
value.
that also. Yeah, go ahead and check that. A change was made to the value of, select a field. Yeah, give acceptance criteria. Sorry, not acceptance criteria, it should be state.
State.
Come down, it is there.
Start date is there, not state. State change.
Yes, because state is not there because they already have a condition. That's where I told you to pick the other condition. Go
Which
to
one?
the when condition. Yes. A work item state changes to, above. First line. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Changes, not from, changes to. Yes. Now you give changes to closed. Let's give closed. Okay, now whenever the user story is getting changed to closed, what you need to do is that select an action. Yes, select an action.
Action. Okay.
Yes, so here you give make required. Okay, go ahead and select acceptance criteria. Okay, go ahead and save it. So now what your rule is doing is that whenever my user story state is getting changed to closed, whenever I'm trying to close my user story, make sure in the field acceptance criteria some value is present.
Okay.
Got it, right? So these are
Yes.
the usage of your rules in order to make sure your business rules are being followed.
Okay.
And this is at your process level. That means it will be applied to all the user stories, to all the projects that the process is being inherited, right? If there are 10 projects that have Agile 1 as the process, then for all the 10 projects, this rule will be applied.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the main advantage of using the rules, right? So
Yes.
this is about our processes. So hope the process section is clear with the
Yes.
layout, states, rules, and multiple agile process creation as well. Okay. Yes, let's go back to the other options, which is called as your pipelines to your left hand side.
Now, how the board will look like? Like in the, if you will see the board,
Mm-hmm.
how it will look like actually
You
the.
want to see how the role
Yes.
works, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So let's go back to Azure DevOps. Go back to the, yes, there, and pick the project where Agile 1 is used. Project for Agile 1, not this one, because
Agile.
here Agile 1 is not there. Yes. Yes, this one. Yes. So now we have a user story created. So go to boards. Yeah, take up the test project 1 user story. So now go ahead and change the state to closed. State above.
Yes.
To your left hand side. Above. Little above. Description. Above description.
Yes.
Above description. You see state.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. Go ahead and keep it to closed. Now you see
Yes. Yes.
acceptance criteria cannot be empty. So this is telling you to follow some rule where we added the rule in the process template,
So
right?
here we have to give something.
Exactly. So now you give test something. Yes. Now it will not give you any error. You can go ahead and save the changes. That means you can ideally close the user story, right?
Okay. Yes, yes, yes.
So this is how your rule will be working.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
No, like in you have seen the version one, like all the things will be straight in a tabular format. That type of thing it will not come, or what? I
No. Come again, please.
like Kanban sheet and that
That
will be
will come, but we have not yet come to that section, because in order to understand Kanban, you need to first understand what is backlogs, how you can go ahead and create the
okay, okay,
backlogs with the different fields, so that
okay.
it will be easier for you to see.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay.
Got it? For
Yeah.
now, let's go to the backlogs to just show you how the look and feel would be. So now you are under project for Agile Team 1. So did we create a user story here? Yeah, you can go ahead and create the user stories here. Plus new work item.
Okay.
Just give test 1. What I was thinking was, I don't want to deviate from the other topic, so that whenever
Okay.
we come to this, we will cover in
Okay,
detail.
okay, okay, okay. Sure. Then okay, fine. We can
Okay.
go.
Otherwise, it will be discontinued.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, we'll be seeing Kanban board view as well, so
Yes,
that
yes.
you will see the advantages of using Kanban board as well. Okay,
Okay.
so let's
Okay.
go to Azure DevOps and organization settings.
Okay.
Come down. So we have seen until, boards and process. Let's go ahead and see something called as pipelines. Okay, so pipelines is also a very important concept that we will be dealing, and mostly with respect to DevOps engineers perspective, we will be working mostly on pipelines always. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
now under pipelines, you're seeing an option which is called as agent pools, right? So let me tell you why agent pools will be important. Let's go to that agent pools. Okay, so right now you're seeing the agent pool, which is named as your Azure pipelines and a default one, right? So go ahead and then click on default. So now you don't have any jobs running for this default pool. Okay, so I'll not go in detail about the agent pools, because you need to run a pipeline. You need to understand how to create a pipeline. Only then you will understand what is the agent pools job there. Okay, and what is the significance of agent pools. But for now, agent pools are used to run your jobs that you create in your pipeline. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
pipeline is kind of a flow. Inside that flow, we are going to add the jobs. To run that job, where will you run? Because this is inside a tool, we are not creating any servers to run our jobs, right?
Yes.
So where our job will run, your agent pools will come into picture.
Okay.
Okay, there are two options for your agent pools. One is your Microsoft hosted pools, and your self hosted agent pools. Okay, so Microsoft hosted is your free pool that you are getting from your Microsoft Azure DevOps, this tool.
Okay.
Okay,
What is that one?
you will not see now, where
Okay.
you will see whenever we are running the pipeline. I'll show
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay, for now let's understand that we have two kinds of pool. One is your Microsoft hosted one is your self-hosted.
Self-hosted.
Self-hosted is the one which you are taking from your company. Okay, it is like your private pool kind of thing.
Okay.
Microsoft hosted is your public pool. Okay,
Okay.
okay, come down. Yeah, to the settings. Next one.
This one is what
No,
is
no,
that?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, Azure Pipelines is your Microsoft hosted pool. Default
Oh,
is your self-hosted pool.
self-hosted. Okay.
For now, we don't have anything there because we don't have the jobs running for it. We will come back again. Okay. So the settings here will allow you to make sure that you're not allowing anonymous connection, and you need to limit the variables whenever you're running your job, and also to limit the authorization for a specific project. Okay. Right now, let's not understand in deep about the pipelines, because until and unless you learn how to create a pipeline, how to run a job, you will not understand these terms. Okay, So let's go back to the next term. I'll explain all these things in
Yes.
detail whenever we are seeing pipelines. Okay, as of now, deployment pools, parallel jobs, and the other thing also we are not going to go in deep. Okay, and yes, you understand that we have something called as deployment pools. Deployment pools is similar to your environment. Like once your application is ready, you need to deploy that application. Where will you deploy that application? Are you deploying that application in dev server or in QA server or in production server? So these three things are your three different deployment pools.
Okay.
Okay. And deployment pool can also be used based on the client specific also. Okay. We'll see that later. And what is your parallel jobs? The next one. Parallel jobs is whenever you are running your pipeline, do you want to run that pipeline using parallel jobs? That means you might have three pipelines created for the same project, and all the three pipelines, do you want it to run in parallel? For that, these information will be important. Okay. So as you see under your parallel jobs, you're seeing that you have the parallel jobs free for your public projects, but for private projects you have some time free, right? So for my private projects, you see Microsoft hosted. As we discussed that there are two types of hosted agents. One is your Microsoft hosted and your self-hosted, right? So for Microsoft hosted, the parallel jobs is one parallel job up to 1800 minutes, right? So you can go ahead and run this one. After that, you have to purchase this. But for now, let's understand that we have parallel project options enabled for both private and public. Okay. Yeah, we'll come to this once we see the pipeline, so that you will understand even more better, like how parallel jobs will be running, and how can I execute both the jobs in the same time and all that. Okay. And then next option, which is called as OAuth configurations. These will be used whenever you want to connect from the third party tools to Azure DevOps. Okay, say for example, or you want to integrate from Azure DevOps to say third party tool, something called a SonarQube server. Or even your another server which is called as Jenkins. So how do you make the connection between these two tools, right? So in that case, you need to create a OAuth token here. Take this token, enter it in the other server, like your Sonar server or your Jenkins server, to make sure to have a secure connection between both the machines. Okay, that's where your OAuth configurations will be useful. Okay, and
here
also
we can
connections.
we can generate here the connection.
Yes, go ahead and click on add OAuth configuration. But you need to create the OAuth configuration for source type, like your GitHub, Enterprise Server, Bitbucket. Okay. So for now, let's not go in deep about that, because we will be getting the OAuth configurations checkings that is coming in your pipelines concept. Okay. Then let's go to the storage, artifacts under storage. Yes, we have the artifacts term inside our Azure DevOps project, which is usually called as Azure Artifacts, right? So what does this Azure Artifacts mean? So Azure Artifacts means the build that is getting generated from the code, right? So I'll be showing you how your build will look like whenever we are running the pipeline and when we have the actual build. And to store that build, what is the format that your Azure DevOps will provide? So these are the artifacts usage that you will be seeing based on the build. Okay, like the most commonly used is your drops, but you can also publish your build to various other things like your drops, symbols, pipeline artifacts, pipeline caching, and all these things as well, like your NPM packages, NuGet packages, Maven packages, all these packages. Okay. So for now, if you want to understand what is all these artifacts usage, is that whenever you are going to, say for example, you are going to download a Chrome browser, right, into your laptop.
Okay.
So what you will do, you will go to the Google, search for Chrome application. Whenever you click on download, you are seeing a package there, right?
Yes.
That is usually called as your artifacts.
Okay.
Okay. And whenever you click the link, which will be redirecting you to your artifact repository. Okay, from the repository, your actual file will be downloaded, and then you will be going ahead and installing your current application, because Chrome might have 5 versions, 4 versions, 3 versions. So in the repository, you will have all the versions of the applications and you can download it from there. Okay, so for now, I think the artifacts usage and why artifacts we are using will be used. Okay, so this we will be seeing also when we are running the pipeline, and I'll show you how the pipeline is getting converted into the artifacts drop as well.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the overview of all the capabilities that your organization can have, that is your Azure DevOps organization can have with respect to different modules it is giving us, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go ahead and see about Azure boards first. Okay, so go to the Azure DevOps, click on one of the projects. Let's take project for Agile 1. One second, Ganesh.
Yes.
Yes, let's go ahead and yes, I think we have already seen about the overview, which will tell you about the summary and wiki dashboards. We discussed that we will be coming back once we see the boards concept, right?
Yes.
Yes, so go ahead and click on boards. Yes, we will see in detail about the boards as well. Yes, so under boards, this is the board view. That means this is the work items view. It is not the board view, it is the work items view, because into your left hand side you see work items being highlighted, right?
Okay.
So here this page will allow you to create the different work item type that is present based on your process. Okay, so go ahead and click on plus new work item. Yes, so in the drop down you can see an option to create all the different work items for that process, right? Yeah, you can go ahead and select any of the work item here and create it. Okay, go ahead and select one of it and let's see how to create that as well. This is similar to what we have created, the user story as well.
Okay.
Okay, let's go ahead and create task, enter the title. Yes, now before we go ahead and see, the first thing that you will have to enter whenever you are creating the work item is the title, because title is the mandatory field required.
Yes.
So after the title, few things are important, so that we have to know where we are going and addressing this new task for, right? So new task and for whom it should be assigned. So below new task, you see something called as unassigned, right?
Yes.
Yes, so go ahead and assign it to a user. Right now we have only these 2 users in the organization.
Yes.
Yeah, this is how you can assign them. Once you assign them, they will get a notification telling that this task has been assigned for you. Go ahead and start working on it like that. Okay?
Okay.
Yes. And the state, as we discussed, go ahead and click on state. For now it is new because we have not yet saved it. Okay, so if you see we have only new, go ahead and press Ctrl S or save anything. Go ahead to the state again. Now you will see the remaining states. This
Yes.
is because the first time whenever you are raising the request, you have not yet saved. That means you're still in the first stage. That is your
Okay.
new stage.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's understand about area path and iteration path.
One more thing.
Yes.
Yes, actually,
Mm-hmm.
if the state, actually three states are there, like that in backlog state, or in the dev state, or QA state, or test state, or after that it will be
No,
closer
actually
to
that is
uh,
stage. That is stage.
stage.
This is
Okay,
state.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this
Uh-huh.
state means the life cycle of this task. Say for
Yes, yes.
example, yeah, I am a developer. I will be working on a task called as creating a form kind of task, right? So whenever I create, I give it as new. Whenever I start working on it, I will keep the state as active. That
Okay.
means I'm doing work on it. So once my work is done, I will put all my efforts here, original estimate, remaining, completed everything. So once everything is done, if I want to notify the team that this task has been completed, I will
Okay.
give closed.
Okay.
Okay, this is the life cycle how you are going to use your task for.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Okay, that's the difference between stages and your states.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So now with respect to state, whenever you are changing the state, you can also see the reason being changed as well based on internally. Okay, so you don't have to really worry about the reason. The next thing that we have to go ahead and observe is about the area. Okay, go
Okay.
ahead and click on area, because area path is the address where your particular work item will be stored, right?
Uh,
Yeah, as we discussed this in the project configuration. Oh, okay. We have not discussed about the project configuration. Okay. For now, let's understand that your area is the address where your task is going to be stored. Okay. We will come back to the project settings where you will understand more about your area path and iteration path. Okay. Because that is also quite important. So we will have a class for that as well.
okay.
Okay, for now, let's keep the default one. Area is usually your team name. Iteration is in which sprint your particular
Okay. Okay.
task is
Iteration.
working.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then you can see,
Where actually how it will be increased, like sprint one, sprint two,
yeah,
sprint
that is
three.
what I told you just now, that we have to look into. There will be a separate class where we are seeing about area path and iteration path separately.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to first create that, then those things will appear here under your area path drop down and your iteration drop down as well.
Okay.
Okay, so for now let's park that because we will be seeing in detail about that as well. Okay, so once your area path and iteration path is done, you can fill in the other fields values like your description and your planning, activity, efforts and all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and give the description. Yeah, you can give something, development activities or something. Yes. Okay, discussion. Whenever you come to the discussion, discussion is to point out what are you working on, right? So
Yes.
in the discussion, go ahead and type at symbol. Please type, yeah. Whenever you type at symbol, it will reference to a person. Okay. Say
Okay.
for example, if you want to ask some input from a person, you can
Okay.
go ahead and update this particular work item saying say at Jayashree, I need this update from you.
Okay. Okay.
For which work item? If you want to mention the work item, you can go ahead and type in as hash. Type in hash. Yes, you can mention for which work item you're looking for the update if it is not the new task.
Okay.
Okay, so this will be useful in your production environment because you don't have to go and inform them via Skype or any other communication channel. You can even update it here so that a mail will be triggered whenever you are using at
Okay.
option. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and save it. Just click on save. Okay, yes. So now what happens is you see that your comment has been increased. Before we go ahead and save it, the comment was 0 comment. Now
Yes.
the comment has been increased, right? Beside your, above your area path. Above your area path, you see something called as 1 comment, is it? Yeah, beside that, beside your assignment, assignee. You see something called as 1 comment? Above, yes, above. Above, little above.
Acha,
Yes.
acha, yes.
Yeah, there. Okay,
Okay.
so that is the comment itself. Like whenever you go ahead and add a few things in the discussion, based on the discussion, how many times you're doing the discussion, your comment will increase.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
and there is one more feature which is also called as add tag. Say for example, you want to differentiate or group your number of work items. Okay, say for example, this task is very critical. Go ahead and add a tag called as critical. Okay, yeah. You can make use of tags for grouping your work items or to make a significant mark on it. Okay. Yeah, now just give critical. This is how your tags will be used in your production environment.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now you got to know why you're using tags as well.
Okay.
And along with discussion and description. So under planning, you can go ahead and use priority and activity. And then actually in terms of task, you need to concentrate more on effort section because this is the effort that your developer or
Yes.
tester, anyone who is working, will be putting. Say for example, activity I'll be working is on development.
Yes.
And then effort I would be estimating is around
Okay.
10 hours first.
Yes.
So right now my state is active. That means I'm still working on it. So remaining will be 2 hours. I would have worked 10 hours.
Mhm.
So original estimate should be the sum of your remaining and completed.
Okay. So
Okay.
we can edit anytime, right?
Yeah, you
Or
can edit anytime. Yeah.
okay.
But ideally you're not supposed to edit it because once you fix that this much task you are going to get it, this much task you will be taking for this task to execute, you should log that because you will be doing your sprint planning and also your estimation during the starting of your sprint, right? So that time you will discuss how much of effort will be needed for each of the user stories to be executed and also each of the tasks to be estimated. So based on that, you need to add your task hours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So after that, deployment to your right hand side, deployment is a section which will be automatically added with respect to your pipeline.
Okay.
Okay, whenever I'm creating the pipeline, I need to make sure that whatever development has been happened, right? So all those work items I want to pull into the development. So we'll be seeing that how to add the work items in pipelines as well, like how to
Okay.
link the work items for the ongoing build pipeline. Okay,
Okay.
that we will see whenever we are seeing build pipeline. And the next one is about your development, right? So
Yes.
go ahead and click on add link. So why this development is required is because this task is created because I have developed a new feature and I'm pointing my task for that new feature in the reports so that you can have a transparency between which branch, which work item has been delivered.
Okay.
Okay. for now, I think we don't have any branches created. That's where under the branch, which is called a select a branch, go ahead and click on select a branch. No, link type should be branch. Yes. Right now, we don't have any branches. All branches?
No. Yes, no.
Okay, we don't have any branches. That's the reason it is giving you no branches found. Okay, but ideally, whenever the developer is raising a new task or creating a new task, he need to make sure that he has a link for his development branch. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we will be seeing how to create a branch and all the branch related or repository related questions in Azure Repos.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So now let's go to the related work. Cancel this because we don't have the branch yet. Yeah. So under related work, I think you already know how to create the links. Yeah, existing link or the new item link, right?
Yes.
But whenever you're creating a link, you have several other link types as well. So go ahead and click on new item. So this is a task. In case if you're adding a user story, then it should be a parent.
Okay.
Or else you can even select different work item type. Okay, and go ahead and have a look at link type.
Which one?
Above link type is given as child, right?
Child.
Yes. So these are the possible link types that you can use it across the organization. Okay, like your child, or if you want to declare it as a duplicate, or if you want to keep it as parent, predecessor, related, successor, and all these link types. Okay, but with respect to task should always be a child to a user story. Okay, that is how we are following in agile methodology. Okay, that's where whenever you are adding a link for a task, the link type should be parent, because you cannot add child to task. You have to add a parent to task, which will be a user story. But right now, the task is already having a user story as a parent, so we are not going to add the links. Right, because there is a rule whenever you are linking, you cannot add two parents to a children. Like a children should have only a single parent. It cannot have two parents, but a parent can have many children.
Okay.
Right, like let's see that option also. Go ahead and click on parent link type.
Should I close this one?
No, here only the same window. Link type you are given, you have selected tested by, right?
Yes.
Yeah, select parent. Yes. Now select the parent as user story, because parent should be a user story for task. Yes, select user story. Give the title test 2 or something.
Save.
Yeah, go ahead and add. Okay. Okay. Maybe that the other link which you gave as test project 1, was it related? Now you can see the different relationship types, right? So one is parent, one is related. That means this task is added to one of the user story as parent, one of the user story as related. Correct? So this is how you can go ahead and add multiple relationships to the work item. Okay. So yeah, for now let's stop here. Tomorrow we will continue with the other operations as well. Okay. We have much more operations with respect to work item. I'll be showing for one work item. For all the other work items, like we have taken an example of task. For other work items like your user stories, features, epics, the operations will be same. Okay. Yeah. Hope this is understood, sir. Let me know if you have any doubts.
Yes, sure. Tomorrow I have to go through it today.
Definitely.
So, can you send details.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.